Daniel Craig is one of the most prolific stars working in Hollywood today. He is probably most well known for being the sixth actor to play the British pop culture icon, James Bond. His performances as the spy were always of an incredibly high standard, being able to bring the right amount of charm and heroics to the character. But his repertoire isn't just limited to sexy secret agents. From historical classics like Elizabeth to spooky dramas like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Daniel Craig has shown frequently that he is so much more than James Bond. Here are 10 things you probably didn't know about him. He was homeless before fame. Unlike some famous Hollywood stories, Daniel Craig did not stumble into a career in acting. He wasn't discovered walking down the street and offered a dream role. Instead, he worked hard at his craft for years before getting his big break. He began acting at the age of 14, starring in a local high school production of Romeo and Juliet. After dropping out of high school, he auditioned for the National Youth Theatre and moved to London. In order to pay for his training and upkeep, he worked part-time in restaurants. After graduating, he didn't find a secure acting gig. Supporting himself financially became a critical challenge, and this is when he ended up being homeless, sleeping on the park benches in London. He landed his first on-screen role in The Power of One in 1992. He then picked up small gigs and then caught the eye of a casting agent where he played a major role in the James Bond movies. He wanted to quit after Spectre. James Bond is a monumental role to land, and many would agree that Daniel Craig was the perfect fit for the series reboot. However, he originally decided to exit after the 2015 film Spectre, but Barbara Broccoli convinced him to return for a final installment. He told Variety, "Barbara doesn't take no for an answer. It's not in her wheelhouse. I had a nice long break, which I really needed. And then she was just persistent and came to me with some ideas, which we started formulating, and I got excited again." In No Time to Die, his 007 is killed off in the end, seemingly ensuring that it's over for the actor. He needed plastic surgery after cutting his face during a Quantum of Solace scene. While playing the role of 007, Daniel Craig has had more than his fair share of on-set injuries. For instance, he sprained his ankle on the set of Skyfall, lost several teeth on Casino Royale, and is said to have fallen badly while filming No Time to Die. Worse yet, while making Quantum of Solace, he cut off the top of one of his fingers, tore his shoulder, and had to undergo minor plastic surgery after a cut to his face. He almost missed out on Knives Out. Back in 2019, Rian Johnson gave the world Knives Out, which garnered a ton of critical acclaim and wound up being a success at the box office. Starring huge names like Daniel Craig, Lakeith Stanfield, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ana de Armas, and a whole lot more, the ensemble cast of this movie took Johnson's brilliant script and executed it flawlessly while the cameras were rolling. As great as all the performers were, people could not stop buzzing about Daniel Craig and his performance as Benoit Blanc. To put it simply, the man crushed in the movie, but at one point, it didn't look like he would be appearing in it at all. Around the time that Johnson was putting together the film's cast, Craig was supposedly hard at work on No Time to Die. However, the film's then-director, Danny Boyle, suddenly decided to exit the project, citing creative differences. As production on the film halted and the search for a new director was underway, Craig found himself available for other projects. And just like that, Craig was able to take on the role of Benoit Blanc and deliver a stellar performance in Knives Out. He was a Stormtrooper in The Force Awakens. 2015 Star Wars, The Force Awakens had a large number of cameo appearances by other actors, often were disguised as Stormtroopers or in very quick, brief scenes. In this clip, the Stormtrooper in question is indeed Daniel Craig. Other celebrities like Ed Sheeran, Tom Hardy, and Jamie Oliver also had their very secret Easter eggs in the film. He loves the theater. Many people may not know this, but Craig was a theater kid growing up, and as an adult, he would still take roles on stage and get back to his roots. Through the years, he has appeared in major productions like Angels in America, The Rover, and A Number. A few months after No Time to Die premiered, Craig made his Broadway debut in Macbeth. He told Vogue, "I couldn't imagine not doing it." While Craig as Macbeth was the most exciting thing to happen on Broadway that season, it wasn't necessarily well received. The New York Times theater critic, Jesse Green, noted that while Craig performed well, the play fell flat and was too analytical for its own good. Still, Craig seemingly served a good performance in what may have been an underwhelming production. He refused to dye his hair. Despite being constantly pressured by the directors, the actor categorically refused to turn his blonde hair brown, stating that it was out of the question. He added, "I suggested instead that I could cut my hair really short to create a more brutal appearance." This makes Craig the first and only blonde Bond to this date. And years later, as his hair started to gray, the actor, again, had put his foot down and insisted that 007 would grow old gracefully without dyeing his gray hair. He insured his entire body for $9.5 million. Daniel Craig often puts himself at risk when he is playing James Bond. When he was in Casino Royale, he performed most of his own stunts as Bond. Wanting to protect himself in every way possible, he took out an insurance policy for his entire body worth a whopping $9.5 million. He doesn't believe in inheritance. As of 2022, Daniel Craig has a $160 million net worth. His large fortune may be passed on to his 2 children, but it appears he doesn't want to spoil them. He told Candies magazine, "I don't want to leave great sums to the next generation. I think inheritance is quite distasteful. My philosophy is get rid of it or give it away before you go." Rather than setting his kids up with a luxury lifestyle, Craig has focused on giving back by getting involved with various philanthropic efforts. He is particularly interested in mental health and suicide prevention. In 2022, he made multiple donations to the UK mental health charity Humber Bridge. He also sent a signed photo from the set and, a few weeks later, reached out and made another sizable donation. His wedding to Rachel Weiss had 4 guests. In 2011, Craig married actress Rachel Weiss. Craig and Weiss are an extremely private couple. The pair said "I do" in New York City with only 4 guests in attendance: Craig's teenage daughter Ella, Weiss's 5-year-old son Henry, along with 2 family friends.